Graeme, thanks for coming along.
No problem.
I've often admired the work that you do, so just tell us what it is that you do.
I work with swamp carry mostly, and I make jewellery boxes, serving boards, platters, and a whole lot of other bits and pieces, candle holders, spatulas.
Cheese boards?
Cheese boards, yeah, we do cheese boards. The main thing I do, my main interest is in making boxes. And yeah, we sort of came across that by chance, I guess. First box I made was probably more than 30 years ago. I made a jewellery box for my wife. This was even before we got married, and we're coming up 30 years later on this month. So yeah, so over 30 years ago. It was a Heirloom box, and a lot of people have admired it and said, where did you get it from? Can you make one? So we made a few. And I had a few sitting in my workshop that I didn't know what to do with them or whatever, so I walked into a shop one day and said, do you want to buy them? And they brought them, paid me cash, and we sort of started there. And we were farming at the time. I was only milking 100 cows, so there wasn't a huge income. We just started by this time we'd got married, started a family. Money, like everybody else, was short, so it was very helpful. And it sort of grew from there and got bigger and bigger. We're selling in the Waikato through quite a few retailers, and then we went to one particular retailer that had about 30 stores, and they wanted to buy our boxes, and we sort of sat back and looked at it, and a couple of years had passed by this time, so we actually had 2 boys by that stage, and we looked at it and thought, no, it's not going to work, it's going to take too much time, we haven't got the time to spend with the boys, and we made the decision to move to a bigger farm and carry on with the farming and increase our income that way and just put the boxes on hold. And we did that. And I always played around and made 1 or 2. And after we'd been married probably 10 years, we moved up here to Northland. We moved to Dargaville first, and then I discovered swamp carry. We'd always been using Heirloom until that stage. Recycled Heirloom. We bought old bits of wood and headboards off beds and things like that, and then recycled them. But then we moved on to the swamp carry, and I found a little bit on the farm I was working on. Didn't really know what it was when I picked it up. It was just a lump of wood. Cut into it and discovered this piece of beautiful timber inside. Made a box with that and took it to a local store and sold it. So we've always sold 1 or 2 just here and there, and it was always a plan when I retired that I might start a little business just to keep me busy in my retirement and then sell the boxes. So but a few years ago, probably coming up 3 years ago now, I had to give up work. I had to give up farming for health reasons. A lot of arthritis and things like that in my joints. The farming just got too hard. I did 1 or 2 other things. I worked in retail for a while. The same thing, I was doing a lot of heavy lifting. It got too hard. I was taking a lot of medication, and it was starting to affect my mind a bit, my brain, and the way I felt a lot, I think. So I decided to give it away. And I thought I'd get another job, an easier job, an office job or something like that. Didn't happen. Not long before that, we'd bought a house, so we had a mortgage to pay. We had to do something. So the retirement plan came into action a bit earlier.
So you pulled it out a bit sooner
than
anticipated.
Probably about 10 years more earlier than I anticipated. But it wasn't very easy. But it's been probably 2.5 years now since we got into it properly, and it's starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're not through the tunnel yet, but we can see the light, and it's going along quite well. It's growing all the time. We're starting to get referrals from local retailers and retailers further afield. We've got a few retailers selling our products, and we're selling a few online, and of course I do a lot of the local markets. So it's been busy. It's been really hard work. I mean, it's when we started, we got a small grant from Work and Income to set up a business and to buy some machinery. That was helpful. We wouldn't have been able to do it without them, and because of our commitments, we've had to grow the business. We had no savings because I had to give up work, and we just bought the house. So we lived from week to week, still do sometimes. And any expansion and any growth in the business had to come out of what we earned. So
the profits.
yeah, so it's been pretty slow and pretty hard.
Yeah, that is a slow,
so we've been,
tough way.
Yeah, so we've been short of capital all the way through. Undercapitalised is what it is, but we're still here. We've managed to pay our mortgage every week. We're ticking along, and then I've always been looking for a job. Applied for quite a few jobs. Not a lot of luck as yet. I sort of get a few interviews and get down to the last one or two, but that seems to be...
We've talked about that quite a lot, eh?
Yeah. I think it's just an age thing, and I have got some disabilities, physical disabilities, and but I'm saying that I still do a lot of work. I have a part-time job, which I've just... Last year I had a part-time job through the winter helping out on a local farm. I mean, I'm quite knowledgeable in the farming industry, got a lot of experience. I helped out. Hadn't milked a cow for 10 years, went back into the cow shed and it was alright, quite enjoyed it. Hadn't forgotten how to do it.
Nothing had changed?
Nothing had changed.
Well, and like the growth of Fonterra and the exports all over the world, nothing's actually changed on the farm much in terms of the milking gear?
It depends where you go. There's a lot of developments, a lot of new technology, tracking cows and IDing cows and all that sort of stuff. A lot of electronic stuff happens and a lot more involved with feeding and all the rest of it. But the farm I'm involved with at the moment pretty much operates, I guess you call it an old-fashioned system. It's all grass, pretty much everything that the cows are fed is growing on the farm. It's a low-cost, low-input system.
Yeah.
Smart farmers who, when payouts been good, have reduced debt. So in a season like this past season, they're okay. They're not stressing about paying their mortgage or paying their bills or whatever. They can do it because they haven't got high inputs and high costs. They've actually...
Right, so they don't have to bring feed in. They don't,
nah,
right.
They haven't built these high costs into their system, which a lot of people have now.
It's a question of, yeah, once you start really intense farming, you kind of caught, aren't you?
Yeah, and a lot of it comes back to the price of what you pay for your farm. If you pay a lot of money for your farm, you've got to produce so many milk solids to pay your mortgage, which means you've got to have so many cows, and it means you've got to feed them so much. So you sort of get locked into a system. There's a lot of debate about which system's best and which works well and all the rest of it. But you know, I look at these people. They've got a good lifestyle. They've got a good income. They milk once a day.
So once a day?
Once a day.
So it's reasonably stress-free.
Yep. And, you know, when money's good, they reduce their mortgage.
When money's not good, they hunker down and
they still do okay. Yeah.
You're
and
right.
This year, they've offered me more work, so I've got some part-time work there, sort of 20-odd hours a week, every week. So that helps me, makes my life a whole lot easier. It means my commitments are paid each week, with the help of my wife, of course. And under their system, they can afford to do that. Even in a bad year like this, they can afford to take on a labour unit, which they've never done before. So,
well, I guess the thing is with you, if they need you and they can afford you, they can have you, right?
Yeah.
If they can't afford you, well, they can find another way to cope.
Yep.
It's not a question of, well, we've got so many 100 cows that are expecting to be milked twice a day, we have to have someone.
Yeah. It's strictly a lifestyle choice for them. They're getting to that age where they want to slow down a bit. They've got a son and sports and stuff that they want to spend time with, and they can go and do that. I can walk in and take over, and
so
no
someone buying a farm, say today, paying top dollar for it, it's a little bit tougher, isn't it?
It's a lot tougher. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's almost like the whole system needs to change, but I don't think that will ever happen.
I think it's about getting more out of things, not less.
Yeah, I don't know. There's lots of things you could say about it. There's lots of things that were meant to be done, why Fonterra was formed and things like that. Whether it's good or bad, that's debatable. I personally don't think a lot of the things that were talked about have been achieved. And yeah, but anyway, that's just getting off the track a bit.
Yeah, but that doesn't really affect you too much because
No.
you're not really into farming professionally as such.
Not anymore.
It's a way for you to prop up your income when you need to.
It is.
And it just gives you a bit of capital for the business.
Exactly.
So
yep.
the business is now, it used to be Rimu. Do you still make things from Rimu, or do you just...
Very occasionally, mostly swamp carry, because 80% of what I sell to tourists. And we tell the story. We know where our timber comes from. I buy most of it from one person, and a lot of it's been well, I've done a lot of sampling of dates and stuff in the swamp. I've carbon dated a lot of it, so we know what age it is, so we can tell the people this is where it's from, and it's roughly between this age and this age. And we tell them the story, and they really like the story, and they know that they're buying something that's unique, that it's not going to be around forever.
So what's the story? Is that what you're telling me now?
Well, yeah, it's swamp kauri. It's been buried for between 38 and 60,000 years.
Whoa!
So it's unique to this part of the world. You can't buy swamp kauri anywhere else in the world. Well, not supposed to be able to be, but you can, because some of it gets exported. They'll tell you it doesn't, but it has been, because you can go onto websites and you can find swamp kauri for sale, slabs and stuff in America and Asia and lots of places.
Places you shouldn't.
Places you shouldn't. So it is out there, and that's one of the reasons it's going to disappear a whole lot quicker. I sort of feel there's missed opportunities there. Like you look at the Ngāi Tahu with the greenstone, Pounamu. They own it, they license it. You walk into the bush, you find a piece in the stream. If you can pick it up and carry it out, it's yours. The rest of it belongs to them, and you want to work with it. You're licensed, and they get something for it. Why not do something similar with swamp kauri? There's a lot of swamp kauri out there, and I've talked to a Maori lady at a market one day, and she was telling me they've got lots of it on their land, and I said, well, why don't you do something with it? Dig it up, mill it, try it, get young people working with it, train them. She said, great idea, but we just can't get everybody to agree on what happens with it. There's so many various owners and that, they can't get everybody on the same wavelength. So I think there's an opportunity there, but it's a bit of a shame. It's just going to get dug up, exported, and lost to us. So it gives me a marketing opportunity. It's something unique and something you're not going to be able to buy for long. You've got a fantastic swamp kauri box, jewellery box, whatever it might be. A few years time you're not going to be able to get one. So you've got something that's only going to increase in value. It's going to become quite rare in time.
So swamp kauri, jewellery boxes, chopping boards, spatulas.
Yep, big platters with dipping bowls and things in them like that, ceramic bowls. The clay we use for this, well, we don't make the bowls. It's a company called Studio Ceramic makes the bowls, but the clay is from up north from Matauri Bay, so it's a local clay as well. It's a white porcelain clay, so that's quite unique too. When you fire it, it comes out pure white. So the only colour, some of the bowls have got colouring in it.
So it's so you were farming. That was your kind of profession.
Yep.
Then you had this retirement plan, which you dabbled in the early years. Then you decided, no, we're going to focus on farming.
Yep.
Then the health came along, and the farming had to take a back seat.
Yep.
And so you pulled your retirement plan out early.
Pretty much.
And you moved from Rimu to swamp kauri, and now you're selling on the website. What's the website?
Heirloomboxes.co.nz. We don't do a lot through there. We need to do a bit of work on that. We do a little bit through Facebook.
Okay, so heirloomboxes.co.nz.
Yeah,
and Facebook.
Yeah, the Facebook is Heirloom Boxes NZ.
Heirloom Boxes NZ.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you also do markets. So tell me about the markets. I know you're at the Artisan Fair a lot.
Yep, I do quite a few markets. Not so much now. The more we get into retail stores, the more we get away from markets. I enjoy the markets. It's a great way to get out there and meet people, and I love telling the story about swamp kauri. And the tourists really enjoy the story, and that's what sells it to them, and that's why they pay a lot of money for it. And so that's really good. Even just the people at the markets are all really nice people, and it's just like a little community, and it's great. So anyone who's starting off with a product and they're not sure what to do with it, whether it's art or painting or jewellery, go along to a local market, talk to some people in the markets. It's a good place to start. And then because I've had it also further back in my life, I've done sales and all the rest of it, and I don't mind going and knocking on doors and saying, this is what I make. What do you think, and what are your thoughts? And that's been helpful. I've got several shops selling my work now, and most of them buy it outright.
So they pay you for it rather than say, oh, we'll keep some in stock and pay you when we sell it. They pay it up front and put it onto their shelves.
Yep, they do. And we sell it to them at a wholesale price. They basically double the price of a lot of retailers, so that they make good money out of it. I make what I want out of it. So it's the retailers have got some pretty high overheads, and they need to charge that sort of money.
They need the margins.
Yeah.
So tell me about your workshop. It's you work from home?
I work from home. When we bought our house, this wasn't the plan, so it's not really a workshop, it's just a garage. It's not ideal, but it does the job for now. We've got a little bit of machinery there, but mostly I use hand tools. I use a bandsaw and a bench saw, a small thickness of planer for a little bit of work, but a lot of this wood you can't use machinery on. You can't use thicknesses and planers because of the grain and the pattern in the timber. They disrupt the timber and damage the timber. So a lot of the work has to be done by hand. The shaping and the planing and that's all done by hand. A lot of it with old antique hand tools, which I really enjoy working with. I've got a lot of new tools, but I've also got a lot of old, wooden planes
and that's the kind of thing you need to use because the grain is so brittle.
Yeah, and it goes in so many directions. You can plane a box lid which might only be 12 inches long, but halfway along the grain will run at 90 degrees.
So you have to change direction.
Technically you do, yeah. If you're using sandpaper or rasp or something, you can get away with it. But yeah, if you don't, you tear it, you rip pieces out. And sometimes if you put it through a mechanical planer and try to surface a big piece of wood, you rip big holes in it, yeah.
So, I mean, your stuff is it's like a mirror finish. I mean, is it just the time?
It is the time. I use a product, it's a commercial product, and it's just an oil, but it's a what you call a tongue nut based oil, which a lot of the oil-based products are, Heirloom oil and things like that. A lot of them are based on tongue oil, which is the tongue tree is a Chinese tree, and the nut of the tree is what the oil comes from. And it's Chinese have been using it for thousands of years. And the story is that the Great Wall of China's got tongue oil on the bricks, which is one of the reasons it's lasted so long. But this oil dries hard, and it gives quite a good surface, and it's suitable for kitchen counters and bench tops and that. So it provides a little bit of durability, and it lasts forever, and it gives a nice finish. But getting a real shine on it requires time and effort. It's a bit like French polishing. The more time and effort you put into it, the better the glow and the shine you'll get onto it.
So is it something that if you own one of these pieces, can you continue to hand polish it over time?
Yep.
And it'll get better and better?
It can, yeah. Well, if you're using it a lot, if it's a board and you're using it a lot, you may need to refinish it at some stage. You may not. Depends what sort of food and what sort of thing you're putting on it and how you treat it. If you chuck it in a dishwasher or chuck it in a sink or something like that,
quite harsh.
It's going to be quite harsh. Some people do. But we always recommend to people, don't put them in the dishwasher, don't put them in the sink, just rinse them and wipe them the same as you would your bench tops, and they'll last a long time. But if they do start to fade, you can put a little bit of oil on and rebuff them, or you can use, if it's like a beeswax type polish, there's all sorts of things you can do just to lift them. But yeah, they'll last your lifetime, and it's sort of why we chose the name Heirloom boxes, because we think it's a product that a lady might buy it, and when she's finished with it, when she passes on, she'll give it to her daughter, and that's what.
So it really is an heirloom piece.
Yeah, it is. It's quite a tradition. The design we use hasn't changed much from the first box I made for my wife. Some of the fittings have changed, some of the materials we've used, the way we line them has changed. We think we've made improvements as we've gone along, but the basic design and construction and the shape of the lid is pretty much the same. It doesn't matter what the box we've made, it's got the same lid on it, and that's it's almost become our trademark design. And but it's quite a simple design, but it seems very popular, and it's quite traditional. Yeah.
And so, where do you see this business taking you? You've got a website. I take it you're hopefully getting some export orders. Where do you see this going?
We're starting to get a few export orders. Funnily enough, we're starting to sell a little bit of stuff to China. And it's not raw material; it's completed products. I've got a contact in Auckland who's brought a few boards and stuff, and he's sent them to China, and he's come back and he's ordered more, and he's sending those to China, and he's ordered some boxes now. So he's got someone in China that wants to have a look at the boxes as well. So we could end up, exporting a reasonable amount to China. It might come to nothing, but like I said, 80% of what we make goes overseas anyway, whether it's a New Zealander buying it for a family member over there or whether it's a tourist buying it. But what probably the main thing we need to focus on is expanding our website, getting an online shop up and running properly, and making our website visible overseas. You know, there's a lot of countries that really like wooden products, like Germany's a really good example. Every week I sell something to a German person. They just love the product over there and they know about swamp carry over there. So there's places like that, Germany, UK, America. You need the website accessible over there and start getting sales over there that will pay a lot more than what the local Kiwi will pay. We don't realise what swamp carry is, or a lot of people here don't. It's just something, a lot of farmers, or something that's a nuisance. You pick it up in the paddock when you're ploughing or rotary going, you hit it and it's just a nuisance and it gets put in a pile and burnt. But it is...
People burn this stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. They dig it up, it's just a nuisance of regrassing a paddock or a field or whatever, and they come across bits and pieces and they dig up a bit, and what are you going to do with it? So it's not enough to commercially mill or whatever. If they don't want it to do it, don't know what to do with it themselves, it gets heaped up and burned quite often. I was fortunate enough to find a small tree on the farm I was on. I dug that up, and the owner of the farm didn't want it. If it's got a use to you, take it. So I milled it, and I had that for quite a few years. I've pretty much used it all now. So yeah, it's around, but the big swamps, the big deposits of it, and that, a lot of them are disappearing, and they're being, well, exploited, I would say, and for $1. Yeah, I mean, when there's money, and I've talked to one of these guys about it, and they said, well, you know, we're creating jobs for truck drivers and millers and all this.
Oh, so they justify it.
Yeah, but then you could create a whole lot more jobs and a whole lot more value. You know, a tree that they're sending overseas, a massive big log that they might get $30,000 for, you could turn that into $130,000 and create more jobs.
If you created something here.
Yeah. So that's my argument, but I'm
on your side. So now, if somebody wanted to get hold of you to find out how to access one of these fantastic pieces that you handmade with traditional tools.
Yep. Through the website, through Facebook, or they can phone me, my mobile number, 021 159 4943. That's probably the best ways, or come and see us at a market.
Okay, so 021 159
4943.
4943, or heirloomboxes.co.nz.
Yep.
Or Heirloom Boxes NZ on Facebook.
That's the one.
Or they can come and visit you at a market. Which markets are you doing?
We're doing the Crafty People. We're doing probably the Artisan Fair when that starts up again next year. Probably at the moment those are the main two I've been doing. I sometimes go to Matakana, I sometimes go to Kerikeri. I do a couple of markets in Auckland, but they're sort of one-off things. So
and there's Mangatapiri every now and then?
Yes, I have been doing that on a regular basis. Not sure when I'll be back there, simply because I just haven't got the stock at the moment. Pretty much everything I've got has been sold.
So you've got to get into your workshop.
I've got to get into my workshop. I'm making stuff. I've got a lot of orders at the moment, and most of what I'm doing is, for the last couple of months anyway, has been commissions made to order. So the market stock's got down a bit. So we have to build that up again. I guess winter's a good time to do that, and that's the beauty of having this part-time job. I can go away. Because I do 3 days a week. I do 8 hours a day, but I start at 4 o'clock in the morning, so I'm home at lunchtime. So I've still got half a day to spend in the workshop, and then I've got the rest of the week to spend in the workshop. So it gives me the opportunity to get the best of both worlds. I can keep going off the boxes, knowing that my weekly commitments are met, and I can concentrate on putting stock aside for markets and getting some stock for my website, which is, I think that's our aim and our plan for the future, is to rely on the website more, because doing what we're doing is not easy. It sounds easy, you just go off and do it, but it's been a lot of hard work, it's been a lot of stress, and it's been a lot of worry. Sometimes you don't know whether you're going to have enough money from one week to the next, and I know that's a lot of problem for a lot of people. But it is starting to work, and it is worthwhile doing it. you've got to be realistic too. Sometimes you've got to sit back and look at it and think, well, is it worthwhile? And we've done that a few times and thought, well, we didn't really have a choice anyway. But
so patience and tenacity.
Yeah, it is
required.
tenacity. Some days, with like a lot of things, you just think we're wasting our time. Where we're going with this, and you do have your days like that, and you think this is just ridiculous. You know, I'm just digging a bigger and bigger hole. But then the next day you're back up and back to normal and enthusiastic, and yeah, we can make it work. We have to make it work, and you just work at it. And so it's been 7 days a week for the last 2.5 years, pretty much. Markets on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays, and you know, every other days in the workshop. And it's because we started off in the situation we were. What we made in a week, we had to sell in a week, and we've been trying to change so that we get stock ahead of us, so that we can put stuff on the website, we can put stuff in the shops, we can have the odd thing in some galleries and stuff on consignment, so that you've got more than one income stream that's coming from 2 or 3 different places, but you need quite a bit of stock to do that. So that's been the difficult thing, and of course putting stock aside. If you don't sell it, you don't make any money for this week, so it's a bit of a balancing act. You've got to buy more timber and buy more materials, but you've got to pay your bills, and you've got to make so much a week to do all this. So it's not easy, but it's like you're doing something you love doing. It's not going to work every day. It's getting in a car and driving somewhere and going into an office or whatever. So we're lucky in that respect.
So you've got to be quite disciplined.
Yep.
Sometimes you might not feel like it, but you've got to go into the workshop.
You've got to treat it like a job. If you don't, you have a couple of days off. It gets to the end of the week and that's not finished. I need that for the market tomorrow, but it's not finished. So you have to be disciplined. And I guess that's the same with anything you do. Anyone who's self-employed, you've got to be disciplined. Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing. It's when things are not going well and you're struggling, it's easy to sit down and think, well, you know, it's a waste of time. But you've got to.
But it's not.
It's not a waste of time. There is, like I said, we're starting to see. It's taken us a couple of years, but you're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're starting to see that it can actually work. And
so, what would the ideal setup be if things were ideal? What would it look like? Would you have staff? Would you just have more stock? What sort of things would you be doing?
Probably more stock. I've thought about staff, but
you're probably not going to care as much as you do about the wood.
Possibly that. I've got to have a passion for it. Finding the right person would be the thing. It'd be an awesome thing to find some young guy that was struggling and wanted something to do, that really had a passion for wood, and you could train them, and it'd be great to pass the skills along. But finding that person's probably not that easy. That opens up a whole lot of other things with health and safety and other commitments as well, and so there's that to consider as well. At the moment, I'd probably just carry on my own. I'd like to get to the stage where I can work 5 to 6 days a week and have a day off where I can do some maintenance on my house and have a veggie garden and all the rest of that sort of stuff that we're missing, and so get a bit more balance in the life. We're not the sort of people that want to be rich or, you know, have a flash car or whatever. We're pretty modest in our expectations and what we want out of life and all the rest of it. We just want, like a lot of people, a roof over our head and be able to spend time with our kids and our grandkids and
with each other.
With each other, yeah.
Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
It is, and at the moment we're not really getting that, but that'll change and it'll improve, and we can see that. So yeah, it's been a struggle, but it's been worthwhile. Cool. So anyone that's thinking of doing anything like this, just have a go. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's no
fail.
There's no fail. You'll pick up new skills. You'll learn things about yourself, and what you do pick up and what you do learn might be useful for a job anyway. Yeah, that's about all I've got to say about it. I think I can't really offer anyone any other advice. Just have a go.
I think that's brilliant.
And have self-confidence, really. I mean, yeah.
And try and do what you're doing around people who are reasonably supportive. And I think if you've found people like that at the market, right?
Yeah.
Because whenever anyone at the markets is having some sort of trouble, you're always like getting in there and giving them a hand. You've had some support yourself?
Oh, I've had a lot of support from people, just with encouragement. Last year I was sort of thinking, well, this is too hard, and I said to a few people, oh, I've got to give this up. And I said, you can't, you've come so far, you can't give it up.
Not now.
Not now, and they were right. But you have periods like that. But yeah, everybody's been supportive, not just at the market. Like even the local retailers in town. I've been to all the retailers and the jewellers and introduced them to what I do and shown them product. A lot of the jewellers, and most jewellers don't stock jewellery boxes or anything like these days. They don't have room. But I can think of at least 2 jewellers in town on top of my head that I've had referrals from. I've had referrals from jewellers in Matamata and Hamilton that I've been to see. They don't buy anything. They take all the information, they take cards, and they give it to their customers that come in looking for boxes. So it's a service that they can provide.
So it helps them.
It supports me. It helps them, and it helps me. Yeah, which is fantastic. So
piggybacking on people who can, you're giving those businesses an advantage. They get to provide an extra service, and you're both winning, and it's not costing them any money.
No, they may not sell anything then, but that person that they referred to me is going to think, well, they were helpful. I'll go back there again. So
that's good business.
It is. I used to do it all the time when I was in retail. People would come into the shop and, oh, have you got this, have you got that? No, but you can get it at so-and-so's. And people, what'd you send them to someone else for? Because they'll remember that you helped them and they'll come back.
So it's about being fair and honest.
Yeah. I think that's what most of us want, fair deal.
I think that's awesome. Well, cool. Well, thank you for that, Graeme. It was nice to have a chat with you. And we'll put this on air and hopefully get some interest in someone wanting to buy more of your Swamp Kauri jewellery boxes.
I'll have to wait for a little while. I've got a list.
That's a nice problem to have.
It's an awesome problem to have. Yeah.